Welcome to online training for ancillary staff using the AEHR Electronic Medical Record System. During this course, you will learn basic functionality and navigation, as well as use of the application in an ancillary role, such as radiology and laboratory services. This training will show all of the possible steps that may be taken in an ancillary service area, but each area has a slightly different workflow, so users should check with their supervisor to determine whether they will be required to do each step. To begin, we must first log into the system. Click inside the Login field and enter your LinkBlue ID. Next, enter your LinkBlue password and hit New Session. Do not use the Last Session button or Option buttons. By default, you will begin in the Daily Schedule screen. The first thing to point out is the importance of logging off or locking your AEHR session whenever you walk away or are no longer using your computer. HIPAA law requires it, and patient confidentiality concerns should be at the highest priority when working with medical records. Click Log Off or Lock by clicking Lock. You simply re-enter your password and click Resume to return to AEHR. Now, let's talk about some of the main areas of the Daily Schedule screen. The Daily Schedule shows patients with appointments scheduled for the chosen date. AEHR will default to the current date when you first log in. On the left is the vertical toolbar. This shows the different sections of AEHR. The items in this menu determine what tabs are available in the horizontal toolbar, where each tab is a subsection of the section selected in the vertical toolbar. These tabs change depending on what section you have selected. The patient banner appears across the top of every screen in AEHR. It contains basic information about the selected patient. The basic demographic information and the appointment comes across from our registration system, APM. Since we do not have a selected patient yet, it is empty. The status bar appears at the bottom of the screen. It identifies the username and site for the user that is logged in. It also includes the selected encounter or the appointment date and type. The clinical toolbar is where information is added to the patient's chart. When not incorporated in another section of AEHR, like the clinical desktop or note, it will be in a floating state. To hide, simply click the X or click Tools. Then Show Hide Clinical Toolbar. To bring it back, repeat this process. Each ancillary service area has its own schedule pre-populated, but it is possible that a patient may not appear on the area schedule for the day. This happens most often when a patient has also been seen in a clinic by a provider on the same day. When this is the case, users will have to find the patient on the provider's schedule for the day rather than on their area's schedule. To search for a single provider schedule, click the All button to the right of the provider dropdown. You can search for providers using the format last name, comma first name, or just by their last name. And click Go. Select the desired provider and click OK. The chosen provider's schedule for today is now visible. The provider's daily schedule shows the patients who will be in the office today. To view recently viewed schedules, including the one for your area, note that they will populate in the drop-down menu when searched for. Click the drop-down arrow and select your area to view the schedule. To select a patient from the daily schedule, single-click the patient. The selected patient is now in context and their information has populated in the patient banner. To view the clinical desktop when a patient is searched for and does not have an appointment, click the Clinical Desktop tab on the horizontal toolbar once the patient is in context. To view the patient's clinical desktop when a patient is selected from the daily schedule, double-click on the patient. Click Chart on the vertical toolbar to return to the daily schedule. Now let's review navigating dates in the daily schedule. The Days of the Week banner allows viewing of the schedule for other days during the current calendar week. The arrows on the right of the Days of the Week banner move 1 week forward or backward, while the Go to Today button returns you to today's schedule. The Calendar button next to the currently displayed date opens to allow more specific date selection. You can jump by days, weeks, months, or years. By clicking and holding the bottom right corner, you can drag the calendar out to reveal more months to select from. Click the Today button to return to today's date, and click OK. The schedule will automatically refresh every 5 minutes. To manually refresh, click the blue Refresh button. Now, let's look at the orders for a patient that need to be handled by the ancillary staff. Double-click the desired patient on the daily schedule to view their clinical desktop. Click the Orders tab on the right side of the screen. Ancillary areas will be looking for orders marked as Hold for Lab Release, Hold for Radiology Release, Hold for ECG Release, etc. First, you may wish to print a lab requisition. To do this, right-click over the order in the Orders list. Select Print Requisition from the menu that appears. Make sure that all printer information is correct and click OK to print. Since this is a training exercise, we will click Cancel. Next, let's update some order information. We will make sure the performing location is correct and update the To Be Done date for an order. Right-click over the order in the Orders list. Select Edit from the menu that appears. If necessary, click the drop-down and select the new performing location. If you need to edit the appointment date or time, click the calendar next To Be Done and select a new performing date. Generally, this will be today. Click OK to close the calendar window. Then click OK to close the order details screen. Click the Commit button on the clinical toolbar to save the information that you have just updated. The information that has been changed but not yet saved will appear in magenta. Once it has been saved, it will appear in black. Click Save and Continue. If you are required to obtain financial authorization for an order, the process remains the same, but the approval must be documented in AEHR. Orders on hold for financial authorization information are listed on the Orders tab under Need Information, Financial Authorization. Right-click over the order in the Orders list. Select Edit from the menu that appears. Click the Additional Details hyperlink. Select Approved from the drop-down menu to the right of Financial Authorization. Enter the approval number in the Financial Authorization number field. Click OK. Click the Commit button on the clinical toolbar to save the information you have just updated. Click Save and Continue. If an order has been listed on the Orders tab as Hold for Scheduling, it needs to be documented that the order has been scheduled. Right-click over the order in the Orders list. Select Edit from the menu that appears. Verify that the performance date listed in the To Be Done field is correct. Click the Additional Details tab. In the Appointment Status field, click the drop-down menu and select Appointment Scheduled. Click OK. Click the Commit button on the clinical toolbar to save the information that you just updated. Click Save and Continue. Some orders will need to be released before they can be performed. Once an order is released, it is active and crosses interfaces into the system used in their area. To do this, right-click on the order in the Orders list. Note that it is possible to release multiple orders at the same time by holding the Control key and clicking to select multiple orders before right-clicking. Select Satisfy Reason and Lab Release from the menu that appears. Depending on your area, you may see Lab Release, Radiology Release, or ECG Release. Click the Commit button on the Clinical toolbar to save the information that you just updated. Click Save and Continue. In some cases, such as incorrect orders or due to cancellations, etc., you may need to cancel an order. This can be done by right-clicking over the order and selecting Cancel from the menu. You will need to select the reason for canceling the order from the screen that appears. Check the box to the left of the reason. Click OK. Click the Commit button on the Clinical toolbar to save the change. Click Save and Continue. After canceling an order, you may be required to place a new order. You can do this by clicking the Orders button on the Clinical toolbar. It is represented by a beaker icon. The window that opens is called the Add Clinical Item, or ACI. All information added to a patient's chart is added from here. Lab orders can be found in the Laboratory tab, while radiology orders can be found in the Radiology tab. Type the name, a partial name, or abbreviation in the search box. Click the binoculars or press Enter to search the master list. Favorites can be added for items that are often searched for by right-clicking an item and selecting Favorite Item. Typing without hitting Enter or clicking the binoculars only searches the favorite items. Hitting the Enter key or clicking the binoculars will search the master list, producing all results. Check the box to the left of the desired order. All fields in yellow must be completed before the order can be submitted. In the For field, click on the drop-down menu and select a diagnosis for the order. The Link To field should contain the original diagnosis. Select Link to Order. Click the binoculars next to the Ordered By field to search for the name of the ordering provider. Type the provider's last name in the search box. Click the binoculars to search for all providers with the name you entered. Select the provider from the list that appears. Click OK. And click Save and Close ACI. Click the Commit button on the Clinical toolbar to save the information that you just updated. Then click Save and Continue. Remember to always log off or lock when you are not using AEHR. This completes training for ancillary staff using AEHR. If you have any questions, please contact the UK Healthcare Help Desk at 323-8586.